Welcome to the first coffee break with the Chamber. I'm Nathan, chair of the board this year. I don't have, Wes Studdard has not sent me any jokes to tell you, and I apologize for not having any ready to go.
Thank goodness.
If some puns hit me midway through, I'll be sure and pull those out for you. We did have a pun off earlier, so we may be out of those. At any rate, today we're going to talk about how to be fit this year. But we're going to start with our sponsor is Dunkin', and we have Daniela Howell on. She has the Dunkin' franchise going out 46 towards Seguin. So what's good about that location is when you're coming back on 46 sitting in traffic, you can reward yourself for your patience by pulling in for a donut or a coffee. Daniela, tell us all about that place over there.
So I just want to say I'm a local Dunkin' franchisee here in New Braunfels. I'm also a brand new resident of the town. And on behalf of Dunkin', I want to thank the chamber members for serving our community. We're proud to keep New Braunfels running with delicious coffees, teas, espresso beverages, baked goods, sandwiches, and snacking options. And since the focus of this month is health, we're not necessarily the first place you think of for health, but we do have a lot of healthy options. And the featured one is the Southwest Veggie Power Breakfast Sandwich this month. And it is plant-based. So it's a great plant-based option for Dunkin' customers. And we do have our new coffee blends that we're featuring throughout the year. And right now it's the Explorer batch. And you can pair that with, oat milk as well for another healthy option. So I just want to thank you all for letting me be a part of this. And I'm proud to be a resident here.
Thanks, Danielle. I can vouch for those sandwiches. I eat fake meat and it's delicious.
Yeah.
And pretty good. And I can say also the cold brew coffee, especially the nitro you mentioned earlier. If you need to stay up for 2 or 3 days straight, that's the way to go. So I would recommend it for those long work nights that you deal with. So thank you for sponsoring us today. We really appreciate it. And glad you moved to New Braunfels. Hope you love it here. I know you will. Yeah. So welcome.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. All right. So Vanessa Terpenning from Das Rec is going to tell us how to be healthy and get it done. Hopefully you're not going to say things like high intensity and work hard and no pain, no gain. Let's go for some nice friendly stuff, Vanessa. It's all yours.
You know me all too well.
I know you. She does marathons and things, so I'm hoping it doesn't include 26 miles of anything.
No, not today. All right, so my name is Vanessa Terpenning, and I am a personal trainer here at Das Rec and also Group X instructor. So just a little bit about me as a personal trainer. I have multiple certifications behind that. I am a fitness nutrition specialist as well. So my goal today is just to really give practical advice overall when it comes to water, fitness, and health in general, of getting that kickstart to living a healthy lifestyle. And so the biggest thing I think in life in general, and when it comes to fitness, is to set yourself up for success, right? You're all business people, so you got to set yourself up for success. It's going to be the little details that make a big difference. I know when it comes to eating and fitness, it's not what we really want to hear is those little details, but it's the same thing as when, you start your career. It's all those little details that add up to the big thing. And so just setting attainable goals, weekly goals in these areas to get you there, weekly goals to get you to where you want to be. So the first thing I was going to talk about is water. I'm going to break it down. So 70%, you probably know this, 70% of your body is water, meaning water is extremely important for organ functions, brain functions, just everyday functions in general. So half of your body weight in ounces, everybody's body needs different amounts of water. Usually we underdrink, but there's also people who overdrink water, which can lead to the same side effects as dehydration. So for me, I would need probably half Ben Nathan right there, right? So for water, and then plus what you lose in sweat. So it's really just a minimum of half your body weight in water. And then if y'all have questions, just write them down. So at the end, if you have questions when it comes to any of the things I'm talking about, just write them down and I'll be able to answer that. But I do want to hit some points here. So if you are lacking hydration and you feel like you need more water, as I was saying, is sometimes people will over drink water. I would recommend adding an electrolyte, clean electrolytes, if possible. We'll get to the nutrition, or maybe even a pinch of Himalayan salt or sea salt to your water. Just a pinch can replenish those electrolytes, especially if you're working out or anything like that. I would recommend that. Sometimes people get lightheaded or foggy headed. That's a way to replenish those electrolytes in your water intake. If you're one where you like flavor, I would recommend infusing your water, lemon, lime, or fruits. They do make water bottles to help you infuse your water. So that's a good way to just add a little bit of flavor to your water. Let's see. I highly recommend always carrying a water bottle with you so you're never stuck in a bind, just always keeping them. I did bring with me a couple of ways that you can track your water. I'm not quite sure if you can see that because it's kind of clear, but it gives a time. So like by 8 a.m., they have water tracking bottles, and then you'll just refill it depending on your needs. So, but you can always buy a tracking water bottle. This is BPA free, so that's another time, another topic. I like the metal ones. And then here's a bigger one. I don't know if you could see that. It says at the top, good morning by 7 a.m., hydrate by 9 a.m., remember your goal, keep chugging, feeling awesome, don't give up, almost finished and you did it. So they have some motivational water bottles out there to help you go in as well if you need that, big ones, or you can do this, refill this one 2 to 3 times depending on your body size. Right there, pace your water intake. And I know that we have coffee with you right now, and I am going to talk a little bit about coffee. So one thing about coffee is I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but it is a diuretic. So that means it is going to dehydrate you. It's going to make you go to the bathroom a little more often. So if you're going to drink coffee, make sure that you do add in an extra cup of water to replace that dehydration, but pace it out because the sweet spot is 2 to 4 hours of going to the bathroom. That's when you know you're in your sweet spot of hydration. If you're going longer periods without, then you probably need to replenish yourself. And then you might have these handouts, but here is a color chart. I don't know if you can see that, a color chart. What it should look like when you go to the bathroom. We want clearer. And I like this because I don't know if y'all received this. Did y'all receive this? Yes? No? No? Y'all didn't receive this? Okay, well, if we can try to figure out a way to get it to y'all if you want. But at the bottom, it talks about, it says you need more than 4 glasses of water if you are looking like this and maybe medical attention. And you need 2 to 4 glasses of water if you're somewhere around here. You need a glass of water if you're somewhere around here, and then over here you're well hydrated. So it gives you a little color guide to know where you're at on hydration. Another thing when it comes to hydration is sometimes we get that, because I'm about to go into nutrition a little bit next, but sometimes when we think we're hungry, we're really dehydrated. So I recommend if you get that hunger feeling, also lack of energy, water can give you that boost, that midday boost. Sometimes we think coffee, which is fun. It's nice. I like my glass of coffee in the morning, but sometimes it's really dehydration when you think that you're hungry. Another thing to do remember when it comes to caffeine, not necessarily coffee, but just caffeine in general, if you have that throughout the day, it does take 10 plus hours to get out of your system. Even though you may not be having external effects, the shakes or anything like that, it does take 10 hours. So it is going to still affect you internally, whether you realize it or not, caffeine. So I usually recommend to my clients, try not to drink caffeine past noon if possible, depending on how your day goes. Drink water because that's going to be what replenishes you, and add those electrolytes to give you that boost as well. So good? We good on water? The next thing I was going to go over was your nutrition. So when it comes to eating your diet, and diet doesn't mean that you're on a diet. Diet means the way that you eat, your lifestyle of eating. And that's exactly what it should be, is a lifestyle. And your body is basically your car. You only got one, though. You can't replace it if it goes out, right? So you want to be able to, you want to take care of it and fuel it with the proper nutrition. So food is your fuel. Think about food as your fuel. I know it's pleasurable, and there's some good ways to get that fuel and still enjoy it. It doesn't have to be bland and boring all the time. So set yourself up for success. Pack your lunch if possible. I know that's not always feasible, but pack your lunch. If you can't pack your lunch, then I would recommend to at least, if you're going to go to a restaurant or something, pre-plan what you're going to eat. Always thinking ahead. Once again, setting yourself up for success. Think ahead, pre-plan. I highly recommend prepping, but I know that that's not feasible for everybody. It's tedious and it's time consuming. But then going back to, it's those little details that are going to make the big difference. So if you can take one day out of the week and, you know, prep your food, prep your meals for your lunches, then I would recommend doing that. But if not, at least pre-plan. If you're going to go to a restaurant, read the menu in advance. So when you get there, you know, and you're hungry and your stomach's hungry and your eyes are hungry and you're looking and you want everything, if you go in prepared, already knowing what you're going to get because you pre-planned, that's going to set you up for success. Also, when it comes to restaurants, I'm trying to get through a lot of practical advice in a short period of time. So just write down those notes once again. Sauces on the side. I know that way sometimes there's a lot of extra on your meal. So if you put the sauces on the side, you can dip, or you can just, you know, sprinkle a little bit, and that's going to help to reduce the condiments and the added sugars and the extra stuff that will add to our calorie intake for the day. Less processed, fewer ingredients, ingredients that you can read. That's one of the big ones. So a lot of times we're not in a habit of reading labels, but I would encourage you to maybe make that a weekly goal, maybe 1 week, just when you go to the grocery store, just start reading the labels. Check them out, see what they say. And I did bring some stuff with me to give you an idea of labels that you can read. I had a hard time. I had to borrow some cereal from somebody, but I brought this Funfetti cereal. And I also brought some, yes, I borrowed these, this Pokemon berry bolts. And I was reading the ingredients, and I'm not sure if you're going to really be able to see that. You probably can't, but I'm going to try to read this ingredient on the Funfetti. It's the first few is always going to be the primary ingredients in there, your first three ones. So it says corn flour, sugar. Number 2 is sugar. Cornmeal, corn syrup, canola oil, degermed corn, calcium carbonate, salt, trisodium phosphate, natural and artificial flavor, yellow 6, turmeric for color, red 40, blue 1, BHT added to preserve freshness. And then it has some more additives. So some of these words, a lot of people may not be able to read. And then when you're looking at all those colors in there, those are all additives. They're extra ingredients. It's not going to be its natural source. And when it comes to nutrition, trying to think of more whole foods and fewer ingredients is always better. So if you have this one here says whole grain corn, sugar, cornmeal, corn syrup, modified cornstarch, dextrose, canola oil, sunflower oil, salt, tricalcium phosphate, red 40, yellow 5 and 6, blue, gelatin, trisodium phosphate, natural and artificial flavors. So those are good stuff, right? No, that's not good stuff. And then I brought some chips, but these are Annie's extra cheddar cheese smiles. So they're similar to Cheetos, and I was going to try to stop by the store and actually get real Cheetos so I could compare the difference in the ingredients. And so this one right here, it says organic expeller pressed sunflower oil, whole grain organic yellow corn meal, organic yellow corn meal. The cheddar cheese is salt, organic cultured pasteurized milk, organic whey, organic butter, which is just the salt and sweet cream, salt cultured organic whey. And it doesn't have to be organic. This one is just organic, but if you can hear the ingredients, it's not a whole lot of additives to it. Whey or vinegar and annatto for color. So that's really, it's the last thing on there. And everything was like real food. So just an idea. And if you were to compare this to maybe regular Cheetos, you'd be able to see the difference and the ingredients in there. So that's just, something good to get in the habit of just checking out the ingredients. I'm not going to go over nutrition labels and calories and all that stuff because there's so much. We could talk for an hour when it comes to overall nutrition and, fats, carbohydrates and that. So that's probably, this is falling out. Sorry for a different. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So practice reading food labels. A couple of tips for you when it comes to nutrition is portion control. I was just talking to my husband about this as he was eating out of a chip bag. I was like, I'm giving a talk tomorrow, and one of the things I'm going to tell him is do not eat out of bags. Don't eat straight out of bags. Give yourself a serving size on the nutrition label. They always have serving sizes, and I did bring some containers to kind of give you an idea. A lot of serving size are about 1/4 a cup. This is about 1/4 a cup. So when you look at nuts or things like that, even if you're eating whole foods, you still want to think about serving sizes because it's easy to just dig into a bag of almonds and keep eating and keep eating and keep eating. But you do want to think about serving sizes. And then this one right here is 1/2 a cup. As I do, my food prepping here. And then this one right here is 1 cup. So you can kind of see the difference in those sizes right there with that. So portion control, smaller plates. In today's society, we think bigger is better. And so the plate sizes have grown over the years. In reality, it used to be like a child-sized plate is an actual a plate that we should eat from. So that's another good tip is maybe get a kid's plate. If you have children, borrow one of their plates. And I know, Nathan, you're not liking this one, right?
I can make it tall, right? It can be a small plate, but if I make it tall, it's still
Yeah. Different body sizes will need different portions. But like I said, that's a topic for another day. So yes, your body do need different calorie intake. So I'll give you an extra serving. Portion control, smaller plates, try not to go back for seconds, and then thinking about the serving size as well. Reading labels, and then just remember, food is your fuel. We eat to live. We not live to eat. So think about, we eat to live. We're not going to eat to live, or we don't eat. I'm saying that wrong. We eat to live, not live to eat. Right? Write that one down. Put it above your computer. So that's just a little bit of practical tips when it comes to nutrition. When it comes to fitness and overall health, it's a big one. I highly recommend is getting a tracker. I don't know if many of you have sitting jobs or at the computer a lot, but I know that's really big right now, especially since we're all cooped up a lot. Some people might be working more from home and at the computer as opposed to moving around as much as they typically would. So a good rule of thumb is getting up and moving every 30 minutes. I'm not talking go walk a mile or anything like that, but get up and move. If it's just going to grab your water or going to the bathroom every 30 minutes, do maybe some stretches. Any cross body movement stimulates the brain as we get tired from sitting. So, just little rotation movements, twisting movements are always going to be able to get the blood flowing and stimulate the brain to reactivate things. But just remember, there's also fitness watches. There's all kinds of things out there nowadays to help you to track your steps. So set a step goal, daily step goal, and that way it keeps you moving. If you have those small goals to get in your day, just to get up and move and get the blood flowing. You can set an alarm on your phone if you don't have a watch or something to give you that reminder. But be sure to take some brief walks and stretches as often as possible. If you're also working at a desk, I would recommend a stability ball if you can. It may be a stability ball or a standing desk. I know that's really big now, is our standing desk because it helps. But this is what a stability ball looks like right here. And if you're able to sit on one of these to kind of help with the core, you can also, bounce on it and get the blood flowing. So those you can find at the store. Let me switch this out. This is not wanting to stay in. Other options, if you're looking at trying to incorporate exercises in throughout the day and you don't really have time necessarily to do before or after, which I do recommend to set a time to find wherever it's at home or at the gym, some things that you can do at your job or on your break or something, on the wall push-ups or on the desk push-ups or squats. If you have the stability ball, you can use a stability ball for squats as well. I know you might look crazy, but at least you're the one that's going to be having the energy to be able to get through the day, right? And you're going to have the strength to be able to do the things that you need to do. So there are always ways to squeeze in those little strength trainings, push-ups on the wall, on the desk, squats on the wall, basic movements like that. Or even if you want to look extra crazy, you can go down into a plank position, which is the top of a push-up position. So 3 times a week is the recommended time, is recommended for getting your heart rate in the cardio state. So we want to move every day. We want to keep our body moving every day, but getting your heart rate in the cardio state or higher for 30 minutes or more, minimally 3 times a week, preferably more, but that's going to be what keeps that longevity going. Longer is 3 times per week with an increased heart rate at 30 minutes or more. You also want to think about not just cardiovascular, but you want to think about strength and flexibility. It's a balanced approach. So there's a lot of people who are all strength. There's a lot of people who are all cardio. I'm not all cardio. And there's people who maybe only focus on flexibility. There might be one primary area that you need to focus on more, but all of them are going to be what balances you out and helps you in the long run with everything. So when you look at strength actually, when you have the more muscle mass you have, the more you're going to burn at rest, which is good, right? When we're sleeping, when our heart rate, we have a lower resting heart rate with more muscle mass. Also, the more strength that you have, the more muscle mass you have is going to support those joints. As we age, we know we want to support those joints. And it's also going to support your bones. So injury prevention, and then your bone density, support bones, joints, and then burn at rest. Cardio is, I always like to think about as your heart, it's not even think about, your heart is a muscle. It's the most important muscle in your body. So just as we build strength with our other muscles, we want to build our heart muscle, and that's going to be through the cardio training. You will get more energy overall. You burn more initially when you're doing cardio, and sometimes for a few hours, then depending on the style, which is where you're talking about with HIIT training, that would be the burning for a couple of hours after your workout. And it's also going to build that heart strength. So it's just overall really good for your health, adding in that cardiovascular. Flexibility. As we get older, we get tighter. We're not as mobile. We're not as stretchy as we were when we were younger. We can't do as much, but it's really important. One, for mobility, right? We want to be able to reach. We want to be able to do the things and have the flexibility and mobility to do things. Also, injury prevention. When your body is tight, you're going to be more prone to pull something because you have tension pulling on your tendons and your joints. When those muscles are really tight, it's going to pull on the tendons and joints a little more easily. So you get, maybe a sprained ankle or a pulled back or, just things like that. And so that's where mobility and flexibility is going to come in. for your better range of motion in life. And let's see, try not. So here's a couple of tips when it comes to starting your fitness journey is try not to go more than 3 days without exercise. And the reason why is because it takes 3 days to break a habit. It takes over 21 days to form a habit, but it takes 3 days to break that habit. So you see a lot of people who, may not work out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they miss Monday, and then they're off the bandwagon, right? It's a lot harder to get back on. So try not to go more than 3 days without that exercise. And I promise the more you do it, the more you're going to start to just love the benefits. Not necessarily, we don't necessarily like working out all the time, but you start to reap the benefits and you start to grow that love and passion because you start to feel better. You start to get more energy, you start to be more confident. And so there's a lot of things that come if you can just break past that barrier, which is the hardest part, is breaking that barrier. And when it comes to exercising, some of the benefits is it controls weight. It combats health conditions and diseases. It improves your mood because it releases those happy chemicals, the endorphins in your brain. So it's going to make you in a better mood. And it boosts your energy. It improves better sleep. It can also be fun and social if you go, to group exercises or things like that, or you find an accountability partner. All of those are going to be really good. I did have some other things on here. Let me see, this one was on water. So I'll try to get to all these things, but it talks a little bit about water and the benefits and how much you should have. So that one. And then I also got this one, exercise and mental health, because one of the biggest things when it comes to mental health is getting the blood flowing, getting those endorphins going, and, just for a longevity of life. So my final tip for you is find an accountability partner. We're not our best accountability person, right? Find an accountability partner, someone that is going to hold you to your word, even on those days that you don't want to move, even those days that you're tired or just feeling a little bit heavier. Find someone when it comes to eating, when it comes to exercising, someone's going to keep you going, either someone who will work out with you, or at least y'all check in with each other on a regular basis. Start small and stay consistent. Start with those small steps. So those daily, like I said, weekly goals. So if your first week, am I good? If your first week is just 3 times a week, and maybe do that for a month, keeping that goal, and then you can add in a day, but start with those small goals. Success doesn't happen overnight, as we all know, right? We didn't get our degree in college in one day or even 1 year. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, it takes discipline, it takes patience, and it also takes perseverance, pushing past those times, those unwanted times, pushing past the things that get in our way or try to stop us or try to hold us down. And that's where you're talking about, yes, keep going. And find what works for you. Not everything may work for you, but I do highly recommend, and this is what I would tell people with vegetables, with exercising, with trying a new class or something, try it 3 times before you say no to it. Because after the 3rd time, you'll really know if it's going to be something for you. The first time, especially when it comes to group exercise classes or exercise in general, it might be a little over your head. So build that confidence up, get comfortable with it, and then you can decide. Also with vegetables, try it multiple times in different ways so you know if it's for you or not. One bad day, this is a big one. A lot of people stop because they have 1 bad day or 2 bad days. It's like a tire. If one tire gets slashed, you don't go slash the other 3, right? You want to keep those other 3 strong and just fix the 1 tire. So if you have 1 bad day, it's okay. Get up, keep going, deal with that 1 tire and keep going. So that's my practical advice for y'all today. Y'all, I know it looks like it's about that time. So do y'all have any questions?
Yeah, thanks, Vanessa. Does anybody have any questions? I would tell you that's DOS good information.
That's good.
That's good information. We have questions for Vanessa. Speak up if you do. I do have one then while people are thinking of questions. Remind me, the water intake goal is half your body weight in ounces. So for me, it's like 250 ounces
Yes.
a day.
Yes. So for me, if I was 120, then I would be about 60. But I think you are pretty active. And so if you work out, how much you lose in sweat, you want to replenish that. So that's an extra bonus, but I would just start with a minimum. If you have trouble drinking water, do half your body weight in ounces. And then if you're outside in the heat sweating, you are going to need to replenish more, but I highly recommend with the electrolytes or a pinch of salt to really give your body back what it needs.
Does anybody else have any questions for?
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you. Does anyone else have questions? It looked to me like your large vessel you held up that had the lines could almost hold a whole bottle of wine. So you can start out in the morning, your container you have for liquids. So just bear that in mind, everybody. If no one has any questions, there's a question on there. What's the difference between salt and Himalayan salt from Abby? Could you hear that, Vanessa?
It's going to be the iodine in there.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to be the iodine in there.
And are each of those, they're interchangeable per the goal? It's just
so typically.
I think we're losing Vanessa.
For which one? Say that one again.
There's no difference mainly, it's just iodine. You can choose which one you want between salt and Himalayan salt.
It's going to be the iodine in the salt. So the sea salt and the Himalayan is not going to have that.
Gotcha.
I actually have another question. I drink a lot of like sparkling water, Topo Chico type thing, and I was wondering how that holds up to hydration. Does it dehydrate as well? Do you need to drink more? What are your thoughts on that?
For the sparkling water, is that what you're saying for the sparkling water?
Yes.
The biggest thing with those is I would still read the ingredients on the back, because when you're going into more sugary stuff, which I don't think the sparkling waters has added sugar, I do like to have, for a little extra flavor. So yeah, you could replace that for 1 cup. I just wouldn't, use it for your entirety of your intake. But if you want to replace the cup with that, then yeah, that should be fine.
Thank you.
And Justin Meadows is always chiming in. Thank you, Justin, for your comments. I'm sure that everyone will take that into account as usual. If there's not any more questions for Vanessa, you will send us over the 3 charts that you had. You had the water, the mental health, and the urine one. We'll share that with the group. Thank you for providing us those. And thank you, Vanessa, for being here. Thanks, Daniela.
You're welcome.
For your bounty of deliciousness always and helping us available to us. Thank you for sponsoring us today from Duncan.
Thank you all.
And with that, we will finish up. We'll see you guys next month with something. Hopefully Justin will be here with his clips, and we'll move on from there. You guys have a great day. Happy New Braunfels.